Henrietta, do you? Amos Jr., do you? I now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Amos Orpington Jr. Amos, you may now kiss your bride. They make a really handsome couple, don't they? Hi, I'm Alan Smith and welcome to the show. I bet you can figure out what our theme is today. Of course, weddings. They are something to crow about. Weddings, no matter how big or small, are a time for celebration and joy. Family and friends come together to honor the bonds of love by engaging in old traditions and in new ways. The beauty of modern weddings is that they can be tailored to suit the bride and groom, making them extra special events. Of course, one of my favorite aspects of the wedding is the flowers. So let's take a look at one of the most beloved customs for brides everywhere that holds a special place in the hearts and hands of every bride, the bouquet.
First of all, I think flowers just in general, whether it's a birthday celebration, a wedding, a funeral, or anything else, I think flowers convey a message. This morning we're working on a bridal bouquet. The design that I'm working on this morning is really a classic traditional hand-tied bouquet. It's been a really popular look for several years now. And so what I like to do is to get more visual impact to the bouquet is kind of group these flowers together, and then we're going to incorporate some different varieties of roses. And to really get a really nice open look to these roses, one of the things I like to do is just take these and just kind of give a gentle twist like this. You don't want to go too hard because it'll split the flower, but then it opens the rose up really beautiful, so you get that really nice fullness to that. I think every wedding, every event is as unique and different as every client. From the very initial stage when we meet with brides, we try to get a really strong sense of what their personalities are, and of course a lot of brides, you know, they've thought a long time since they were little girls about that wedding day, and so a lot of them come in here already having an idea. I think brides, even though they may have an idea or a sense of what they're looking for and things like that, you know, there may be particular flowers, for example, that they just absolutely love, but perhaps are not seasonably available. So they really rely on us heavily for recommendations. A lot of times brides will look to pictures and social media and Pinterest and different outlets like that, which are great for, I guess, inspiration type things, but you know, none of those really tell brides pricing considerations and seasonal availability and stuff. So I think that's where the professionals really come in. So what I'm going to do here is just do a very traditional wrap using an ivory satin ribbon. And then the last is to cut those stems off, and once you give that a fresh cut, immediately you want to put that in water, and there you have it.
So a hand-tied bouquet is a beautiful way for us to create a lovely arrangement. The secret to creating a hand-tied bouquet is how I place the flowers directly into my hand. Every flower goes in exactly the same way, at a 45-degree angle and on top of the last flower. That helps us create the perfect spiral on the base of our arrangement. As we're creating this bouquet, it doesn't create from center outwards. We build from one side to another. So it's okay if we want to add a couple flowers at a time too. When we're finished with our collection of flowers, We'll add a collar of foliage around the outside, and we can just turn our bouquet in our hand as we're adding that collar of foliage. Now we're ready to bind our bouquet. So we're gonna bind it exactly where I'm holding it with my fingers. And we'll do that using our craft covered wire. I'll place that so that we have one strip running down just like a stem, and then we'll bind it around that same point. We'll take both of those ends and tie them together. Then we simply cut off the stems. Then we can stand up our bouquet. Because of the structure that we use to create the 45-degree angle, it's always going to stand up. And it's perfect for us to display it in a low bowl. This versatile method of arranging flowers works wonderfully as simple centerpieces or bouquets for the bridal party, adding a lovely homemade touch to your event.
Coming up, have a beautiful cake and eat it too. And a little later, flowers, flowers, and even more flowers, so stay tuned. Madam, how about a piece of suet wedding cake? Cake has been a part of wedding ceremonies for centuries. It's not only symbolic, but it's also a special treat for the guests. Today, cakes are often the design centerpieces of receptions, and when your cakes are as beautiful as Zara Abbasi Wilkerson's, it's easy to see why.
I've been baking since I was a little kid, and then decided that I was going to go to law school when I grew up. But when it came time to go, I was trying to decide between law school and culinary school, and decided that I can bake without a culinary degree, but I can't practice law. So the passion of cooking and baking has always been within me. So we built this cake up, as you can tell, and you're going to do a quick crumb coat with this. All you're trying to do is create a barrier for the crumbs to not come out when you put on your second layer or however you want to frost it. This is, I think, one of the most important steps in cake making or cake decorating that people are either unaware of or try to rush through and skip. You want just a thin, thin coat, and then what we're going to do is pop it in the fridge for about 5-10 minutes. So this is the top tier of the cake of the wedding cake we're doing today. Wedding cakes are they're a breed of their own because they belong to somebody. But a wedding cake, I think, belongs to the whole family, to the whole party. Okay, so you can see this is not completely level. I'll show you a nifty trick. Your phone already comes equipped with a compass. You can use saran wrap, or you can use a technical little baggie like this. So we just need to fill in over here. Wedding cakes traditionally have been what you see in the movies. The basket weave or the white just stacked on top, on top, on top is how tall can you get it. They're showpieces. And then you move towards the more modern cakes, which were maybe green and had, you know, your favorite themes on it, whether it's rustic or have owls all over it. What's really trendy right now, a lot of brides are asking for, is the naked cake look. And I'll show that to you real quickly. It's basically this cake, and you're gonna scrape off as much icing as possible to show these layers. That's what the brides wanna see. So what used to be horrendous to show at a wedding is now what's sought after. The naked cakes are very in style right now. Almost all the brides I have coming, they want naked cakes or very easily put together cakes. And I think this represents the new generation of brides. They don't want marriage, I guess, to be so forced. They don't want it to be so tough and so tight. It's fun to do because you get to be a part of something that's once in a lifetime. You know, everybody focuses on the cake. It's something that brings, it's something sweet that brings both families together.
Next, we're back to floral design, this time for elegant decoration. You won't want to miss it. Whether you're into floral exuberance or elegant simplicity, the flowers at a wedding can really set the mood. So I asked a talented friend of mine, Tanara Haney, to show us a thing or two about incorporating just the right flowers on your special day.
My name is Tanara Haney, animal lover, flower lover, and lover of all things beautiful. Today, you've caught us in the middle of wedding season, so we have a couple of arrangements that we're going to be making that you'll see. These are for some anchor tables, so they'll be large-scale arrangements. We've actually processed over 1,500 roses, 1,000 hydrangeas, and we're going to get started on a great foraged look for this bride this weekend. We've got prepped foam here that we start with a greenery base, and Rachel here to my right is building a beautiful buffet piece, and we do in the likes of 15 large arrangements and various small arrangements for any given wedding on any weekend. Justin over to my left is building a low line arrangement so that the guests that are seated at the table where this arrangement will be placed will be able to talk over the arrangement. These arrangements are really good for an intimate setting. We will do anywhere from 25 of these for a wedding up to 100. The client usually comes in and they've been dreaming about a certain look, but maybe they don't know how to get it to come to fruition. And the wonderful things that we have, the tools such as Pinterest and the internet, has opened up the world to brides today. They can go on, look at styles, and feel like they're really a part of what's happening today with floral design. I always say, pull out your personal style with picking out your colors first, and then determining what style that you would like to see, and then allow your floral artist to fill that in.
After the break, I'll show you what to look for in creating a formal tablescape. I really enjoy coming up with creative tablescapes. Maybe it's a bridal party, maybe it's a dinner after a wedding. Here are a few thoughts to keep in mind. The approach I took here was to keep the color palette very, very simple. It's almost monochromatic using all cream. So with the color theme set, let's take a look at the tableware itself. To make it a little more formal, we use china with a silver rim around the edge, echoed by the silver flatware and the silver tray in the center of the table, which serves as a plateau for these three arrangements of flowers. Very simple, very tightly arranged daffodils. They're in silver revere bowls, and one of them is actually elevated by a bowl which gives it a little more height. To further enhance this more formal setting, we use these mahogany-colored Chiavari chairs, and I used lots of votives. You see, the more votives, the better, because that candlelight reflects in all of the silver that we've used in the setting. It's an evening affair. Votives go a long way, which makes the entire evening even more magical. Now don't go anywhere. We've got more flowers coming up, but this time they aren't just for looks. Well, all things must come to an end, even special days such as this. So if you're looking for a clever, inexpensive parting favor for your guests, why not think about an edible flower lollipop?
How about an untraditional spin on a traditionally sweet treat? Today I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful and tasty flower and herb studded lollipops. So to start, we're going to spray some silicone lollipop molds. The next step is you're going to add your flower petals, your herbs. You can get creative here. You can make patterns, you can combine them. In a saucepan, we're going to combine 1 cup of sugar with a 1/2 cup of light corn syrup and a 1/4 cup of water. We're going to stir it until the sugar dissolves, and we're going to let it simmer for about 5 minutes. The goal is to get the temperature to 300 degrees. You really need a candy thermometer in order to determine that. So one alternative, if you don't have a candy thermometer, is to use an ice bath. You take a spoonful of the sugar syrup liquid and you drop it into some ice cold water, and you see what it does. You want to get that candy to it until it's really brittle. Once it snaps in half, then it's ready to go. Now we're turning off the heat and we're going to let it cool slightly until all of that simmering stops. Then you can add your flavoring elements or even some food coloring. I added some cinnamon flavoring just for a little kick, but you could add coconut, you could add vanilla extract, almond extract. It's really a chance to experiment. You could also add some food coloring if you want to add some color there, but I'm leaving mine clear so we can really let those flowers and those herbs shine. So now this is where we have to quickly add this candy into the mold so that it doesn't start hardening up on us. So you're taking a spoonful and you're adding them into each mold, and if it does start to harden up on you, you can actually put it back on the stovetop and let it soften again and then try again. Once the molds are full, you simply set them aside and let them cool for several hours until the lollipops are fully hardened. Then you can use these as a party favor. Put some plastic wrappers on them, put a little bow on the bottom. These also are great for the holidays. They're super simple and very whimsical and festive.
I hope you've enjoyed today's show as much as I have, and you've picked up a few things along the way that you can use. The thing to remember about weddings, or really for any special occasion for that matter, is that it's all about the love. Well, and maybe a little bit about the cake too. Until next time, I'm Alan Smith. Okay, let's go. Want to learn more? Visit pallansmith.com for delicious recipes, garden tips, blog posts, and our online store.